watching News X and I'm Kriti Mehta. Today's big news story, in fact, news breaking at the moment of us recording this. Giribala Singh, the mother-in-law of Twasha Sharma, has finally been arrested right after her anticipatory bail was cancelled. CBI conducted searches at her residence in Bhopal for about 7 hours afterward. Twasha Sharma's mother-in-law, Giribala Singh, has been arrested and now she'll be sent to custody of the CBI. Samarth Singh, her son and the husband of Twasha Sharma, is also in CBI custody. Now both of them are in CBI custody. Your first thoughts, Uday?
Well, it's a big development. It's a big news, and obviously Twisha's family and friends will claim vindication. They have been happy ever since this new turn of the case has happened, with the CBI investigation beginning, with the second post-mortem happening, with Samarth's arrest first, and now, of course, Giribala Singh's anticipatory bail first being cancelled, and then, of course, now her arrest by the CBI as well. It also shows that obviously now there is, a view of the investigation that perhaps it was not a suicide after all, perhaps that it was a murder. Of course, right now, remember, it's too early to say anything. The matter is taking its course, it's playing out legally, but yes, that's what the family and friends have been claiming. They claim that she was tortured, that there was pressure put on her. Obviously, Giribala Singh's coming in front of the media has also not made her life any easier or her impressions any better amongst the people. I think there was a terribly thought out strategy, because it really turned the country's focus on her and what she's said about her dead daughter-in-law. Whatever it may be, you have to wait until, it was obviously a legally thought out thing. That's what many said. She's a judge. She knows the system very well. Her son is also a lawyer. Obviously, he was on the run for a while. Then he saw the way the case was taking. He saw that he was not going to get legal relief, which is why then obviously he did finally surrender. But yes, now also what the SG has said in court yesterday is very important. The Solicitor General has said that perhaps those injury marks also on Twisha's body, which have come out in the post-mortem, were not caused after a death, as the family has been claiming. It may have been anti-mortem, it may have been because of a struggle that happened earlier, or force inflicted on her, because right now it was being claimed that it was while they were getting her body down. So these are all big things, and we've been speaking on NewsX to the family and friends every day. They have been telling us their version of Twisha, how she was in real life, and they differ with what Samarth and Giribala Singh have been saying so far in the media or through their legal defense.
Absolutely. Everybody that we have spoken to on air here at NewsX have only maintained Twisha was not a weak person. In fact, on air and off air as well. Even people privy to Giribala Singh's family have said that Twisha was a strong woman, and it doesn't appear that she could have taken that step of committing suicide. But like Uday, you're saying, even Tushar Mehta, the Solicitor General, has said that a divorced daughter is better than a dead one. In fact, has also gone on to say, how Giribala Singh should have been arrested much earlier because she was present at the time. And how was she granted anticipatory bail in the first place?
Powerful position as well.
Given her,
Can be used to influence witnesses.
yes, exactly. So that has been mentioned, that she has used her influence, and the fact that CBI also today said that Bala Singh has left no stone unturned in maligning the image of her dead daughter-in-law.
Absolutely, and it raises very serious questions, because it's now been more than 3 weeks that she's been finally arrested. And what does her arrest mean? Why was she granted anticipatory bail before the investigation started in the first place? Also, after 25 days, after there is now, in the CBI FIR, they've mentioned that she's tampered with the evidence. So what is there a possibility of finding out things at this moment, because you've given them enough time to cover up enough things now? So you don't know if any conclusion can be reached now. Yes, it is a small victory for the family itself, who's been running around for all these days to finally at least get them to face the law. But considering that she is a judge, whether she'll be sent to CBI custody, whether there'll be any foul play, whether she'll be sent to a judicial custody, all that matters now. And how early the conclusion is made and the CBI files their charge sheet is going to be important, but you don't know what evidence is going to be there, because after 25 days, there's been so much opportunity for the family to cover up things, right?
Yes. And even the factual inaccuracies that we have reported so far, what we have picked up, we are learning, there were reports where the Tuisha is 31, she's 33, she's 35. What's her height? How tall is it? How tall she was? All these details are very important when do an examination of a person who has died by hanging, so to say. So on that as well, I was told by some sources that those inaccuracies were also reported on purpose by the Giri Bala Singh and family, because she's a judge and she knew very well how these inaccuracies in the FIR could actually tighten her own case in the defense to the allegations of the death of Tuisha Sharma. So anyway, that's the big update on the Tuisha Sharma case. Then another.
This also shows us, what sometimes girls have to go through. What a lot of our girls in even in big cities are still going through. Bhopal is not a small town. Yes, it may not be a metro, but it's not a small town. So it shows what the reality is. Right now, of course, we'll have to see how it goes through. But some of what her friends and family have been claiming of dowry and money demands, and these taunts of, oh, your family didn't spend this much on the wedding, and all. This is a sad reality of how things still are for the girl side of the family. Ye pressure, ladki wale, ladke wale, the pressure. And I'm sure as a woman, you also, Kriti, would be able to empathize with that. And also, apparently, again, another story, one of the family members or friends or cousins was telling me yesterday on air on NewsX that I said, was it true that during the Vidai some money was asked? He said even the Bharat reportedly came so late it was covered up by saying, oh no, there were some delay issues, time things, Bharat always is late. But it was actually that they were not happy with the arrangements, they wanted more and possibly some money as well.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate reality in India. Dowry is illegal, but dowry is still prevalent. Gifts are being exchanged. Dowry is no more the colloquial word that's used, but gifting, sagan, whatever you name it, it's still happening. It's very unfortunate. And Tuisha Sharma's is only one case that has got so much attention. But every day we are reporting cases of dowry death from across India. I think that's all we have time for. We'll wrap up quickly.
And yes, and we will also maybe talk tomorrow about what's happened in Karnataka. I think what we've said yesterday has come true in a way, but with one exception. That Siddaramaiah, he wants to stay in Karnataka. Isn't that going to be a big
No.
headache for DK Shiv
Yes,
Kumar?
but we
He
were
will
di-
remain as an MLA there.
Yes, but we were discussing that yesterday as well. I did ask whether he was going to accept that Rajya Sabha position. I did have my doubts on that, and like
DK would have wanted him. DK Shiv Kumar would have wanted him
yes,
to accept that. and come to Delhi.
but I think it's only fair for DK Shivakumar to be given the opportunity to govern in the manner that he wishes to, without Siddaramaiah throwing a spanner in the works by saying, I don't want to be in the Rajya Sabha, I want to have my son as the deputy, or I want to have my loyalists as the deputies or in the cabinet. I think it's unfair to DK Shivakumar.
Absolutely, it is because he's waited so long, and now you see finally his moment is here, and then Siddaramaiah has this googly in the he's telling him that no, I won't be going to Delhi. I'll remain in the state, and remain in active politics. He specifically mentioned it, not like he's gonna pass the baton or something. So remains to be seen what happens tomorrow. We'll obviously be covering this the entire day, and it's going to be a dramatic few days in Karnataka.
All right. On that note, viewers, stay tuned for our discussion tomorrow as well, and to NewsX. Thank you for watching.